visual journals to be stale. We want a lot going on. Remember, this is your brain on paper, and there's a lot happening in your brain. So the first thing we're going to do to kind of jazz up our visual journals is add borders. And I'm going to go over a couple different types of borders that we're going to add. So one is going to be the figure 8 or the infinity border. I'm going to teach you how to do that. And another one is going to be very similar, but a little bit more geometric, which is the diamond border. So we're going to be going over how to make the diamond border as well. And obviously, you can create any border that you might want to create. To begin to add borders, we're going to do this on our first 5 pages. So I'm going to turn to page number 1 to do the infinity border. And I'm going to have this going around the whole edge. To start the infinity border, you're going to create a wavy line. So I'm going to give a little space from my edge, and I'm going to start a wavy line going from left to right. Trying to keep it pretty consistent. Notice how slowly my pen was moving. I stopped right around when I got to my number 1. Now I'm going to loop my infinity border back. So I'm going to put a hook onto the end. And after that, I'm going to start my wavy line going the opposite direction. And here you can see I'm nearing the end. I'm going to duck under and come back and create my loop. I'm going to do that on all 4 sides of my paper. Slowly and carefully making the wavy line down, turning around. If I was looking for consistency, you can see my waves or my loops got much bigger to much smaller. Here they stayed pretty consistent. Notice that stuff so you can try to do it in different ways and do it on purpose. This time I'm going to try to make mine much more consistent and have them all be the same size. To the bottom, loop around. Not bad, some nice consistency in here, little big to small there, but not bad. This one I definitely rushed on the beginning. Look at that giant loop at the end. And a little bit of a mistake here as well. That's okay. So I added a border around my first. This one is the infinity border. I'm going to turn my page over to page number 2. Now if you're working on copy paper, you might see a little bleed through. You might not on other types. But I'm going to use that to my advantage and try to place my diamond border right over top of my figure 8 border. So this is using a zigzag line. Notice I started with a short line and then did long, and I'm trying to keep those long lines very consistent. So using the same lengths and angles each time. And then I'm going to have another short. Not too bad for my first one. Let's see how I do here. You're going to make mistakes. That's okay. Live with them. They're going to make your visual journal much more interesting when it's completed. And a lot of little mistakes aren't going to be seen once we've added lots of things into the paper. Making some smaller zigzags to experiment with how that works. And I'm making some higher zigzags to experiment with how that works. slowing down because I'm getting pretty confused. And you can see a little bit of the variation there too. Let's do our last one. If you know other types of lines that you could use to give your paper a border, that's fantastic. But we need to add a border of infinity and diamond lines to the first 5 pages. Diamond, you can also make your diamond line like this too, if this is an easier method for you. For me, this seems like it takes a little too long, and it gets a little tedious and boring when I'm doing it. And when I feel like it's tedious and boring, then I rush and make mistakes. So I like to do it this way, a little bit more challenging, and keeps me engaged. You can see here, I'm trying out a different method. That created a lot of small mistakes in these areas. I'm going to circle them all, which brings another detail to where those mistakes are, and that helps hide it. And there's my first 3 pages. I'm trying something new on this page, which is creating one continuous line. And there's my page 5 border.